And Ton, I've asked him to come on and let you guys know the value of these nodes, which when they go on sale are going to be starting at $500 each, and they're going to go up and up and up in value. But what are they, what they will do? So Ton, if you could briefly explain what is a blockchain, what is a node, what is a coin, and how are our MMM members going to use this to create wealth?
Yeah. So first, let me just thank everyone for being here tonight, and thank you for inviting me on to speak to this group. Um, I can tell you, for all who's listening, mindset really is the secret to success. We have to have a mindset of abundance and not lack. And what MMM is offering checks all those boxes. And so I was really excited to just be part of this from the beginning, to hear how the program is being launched and how it's connecting into your lives, and the opportunities that it offers everyone that's here tonight. So I'm just really happy to hear that. Secondly, it's difficult to talk about innovation because a lot of people get really scared or turned off by by technology. And it can, I mean, don't get me wrong, technology and innovation can be really scary, and so most of us are late adopters. But again, if you change your mindset and you're not afraid of stepping into the future, it's like learning how to read before books were invented. And that's one of the best analogies I've ever heard anyone tell me about innovation and technology. So, to give you a little history, since we are just meeting each other, I just want to tell you guys that I've had a history of innovation as an entrepreneur. I am the reason why you're watching videos on your phone. So I apologize to any parents out there who had to pass back their phone to their child in the back seat to watch Cartoon Network from a live feed. That was my fault, and I apologize for that. I also am the great grandfather of mobile wallet, so I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying how to pay for something with your phone rather than pulling out a debit card. So that was also something that I brought to this world, and I apologize if that's disrupted your life. But I am most excited about what Steve and I have been talking about recently, and that's how to bring blockchain into this community. Whether we like it or not, blockchain is going to change how our financial foundation works. And the promise of blockchain is that it is the digital foundation for financial freedom. So when you hear words like that, you can understand why Steve is excited about bringing this into the community. So let's, because innovation can be a bit, overwhelming, and we probably hear a lot of terms and buzzwords about crypto, about Bitcoin, Ethereum. Let's just bring it back to the basics. Let's start with a blockchain. A blockchain is nothing more than a digital ledger. The difference is this digital ledger exists simultaneously across thousands and thousands of digital ledgers. And why that's so important is because it isn't controlled by one entity anymore. It isn't controlled by one government. It isn't controlled by one corporation. It is immutable because it exists simultaneously globally across thousands, if not millions of computers that are unhackable. You cannot rewrite the record. So it is a transparent and secure way of keeping a record of a transaction or an ownership. So the basis of blockchain is that it is a ledger, and it keeps records of every transaction, all the ownership, and it keeps it simultaneously across thousands of computers so that no one can hack it and no one can rewrite it and no one can defraud you. You can already tell that as I describe this, why it fits into this community so well. So that is the baseline, the blockchain. On top of that is a coin. Most of you may have heard a coin as a Bitcoin or a Dogecoin. And that is true. That is the idea of what a coin is. But you have to ask, what is the purpose of the coin? The purpose of the coin that exists inside of a blockchain is the means for which a transaction is recorded. So that coin is what you get to use to exchange value between peer to peer, or company to company, or peer to company. So the coin itself contains the value of what you're doing on the blockchain that records that transaction. Okay. So, lastly, and the most important part of this, is a node. For this conversation and for the second generation version of blockchain that we're building together with Steve, the node is the software that manages the blockchain, that validates the blockchain, that keeps the blockchain operating so that it is secure for everyone that participates in it. Yes, a node can also mint the coin. So a node is the most important part of this environment. You own a node, you are managing the operation of the blockchain and how that coin exists and gets exchanged between parties. So owning a node is where people like myself look. We don't look to buy coins because that was the first generation blockchain. That was the first generation cryptocurrency. That's what's called stored value. And you will not find another crypto that's going to outperform Bitcoin. So that first generation is all about stored value. What we're building, which is moving into the future of blockchain, is utility. You need a coin that will be used. You need a coin that will be transacted, because that is going to sustain value. It won't be as volatile as the coins that we know today in this first generation. So if you own a node in this blockchain, it will be about utility, because we're going to create an environment where it's utilized, and that utilization stabilizes its value. So you're getting the next generation or the next version of blockchain in what we're delivering to MMM. That, in a nutshell, is how the fundamentals of this environment. It's important for you to understand that blockchain is digital financial freedom. It's important for you to remember, if anything, the sooner you participate in blockchain, get familiar with it, the quicker you become that person who learned how to read before books were invented. You don't want to be left behind. And a lot of institutions today and a lot of innovations happen, and it leaves a whole population, a whole generation behind, because the adoption rate is too low. We can't afford to do that with blockchain. And because we understand that value so much, Steve and I are working hard to deliver this blockchain to this community.